designs. Sisters of Mercy shirt is now a rag. Is that sacrilege or what? I'm a painter, actually. Work in acrylic and oil, which is something that if you've ever been to art school, they'll tell you shouldn't do. I deal mostly with portraits of people, predominantly women, and have a fascination for portraits of people who are a little unusual. People that are not the people you see in fashion magazines or gyms or in television shows. These are people who are a little bit more eccentric, more underground, I guess you could say. The kind of people you might see in a European fashion magazine, an underground nightclub, or a fetish club. I guess at some point I got saturated with what everyone considered was attractive in the 80s when I was first starting to paint. Blonde bombshells, big-breasted, tiny-waisted, blue eyeshadow, pink lipstick. This whole thing we were being fed in the 80s of what was at least considered attractive for feminine beauty. I very quickly rebelled against that, and the paintings of women that I do are mostly very dark, very pale-skinned, very dramatic, and much more European-looking than the California beach babe type of female. I recently have broken away from doing strictly portraits. I've been experimenting with a passion I have for vintage fashion, specifically around the turn of the 20th century. So, to kind of give myself a break from drawing and painting people all the time, I've been doing images of vintage shoes from the 1920s and corsets from the late 1800s, or yes, that's right, late 1800s, early 1900s. Started, I can't remember when the first time I was really fascinated by, I guess, drawing. Copying drawings of cartoon characters maybe when I was 5. And images out of magazines, just trying to reproduce what I'd already seen. And it never looked exactly like what that I was copying from. I found it incredibly frustrating, and so became a bit of a perfectionist, trying to make these drawings look more and more realistic. And I think that continued right through to high school, right through to art college. I studied at Emily Carr College of Art from 1987 to 1991. And I was still very much involved in painting representationally, or like real objects, real people. And this was not something very commonly done there. Probably the most popular trend at the time was more of a kind of an abstract. I got the feeling that they didn't think I was ever going to make it, that this just isn't popular anymore, it's just unacceptable, it's low art. So myself and a few other friends who also worked with recognizable images kind of stuck together and really didn't make any friends outside of that, and didn't really notice it until I was almost at the point of graduating. I realized all my friends are people who paint not in the same style as me, but have the same feeling. When I finished art school in '91, I had a great opportunity to get involved in an outdoor exhibition with several artists Two of the most notable being local graffiti artist 12 Midnight and now renowned Joe Average for his work with the 8th Emergency Fund. So it was great getting to know these pros who were just sort of coming into their own at the time. It was incredibly inspiring. It gave me a great deal of confidence, and I immediately started sending work out to publishers and galleries and so forth. Until recently, I've discovered that this kind of trend of the portrait art is coming back into fashion. So maybe I was being ahead of myself, or maybe so much behind it. Now that it's come around again, what I do might be popular again. I'm making this up as I go along. I've never known exactly why I like to do what I do. I've just always liked it, and I've always done it. I've always been compelled to work in images rather than words. I don't entirely know why I do it either. Maybe you can help me. By looking at it, you can tell me why I do what I do. There are some things in life we find ourselves compelled to do. Why we really want to ride our bike to work rather than walk. Why we like red cars rather than cars. Sometimes you just don't know. There's no answer. There's a certain passion in you that makes you do things. I suppose the reason why I'm dealing with people is because I'm looking at every work that I do as a mirror to myself. Things that I experience, things that I enjoy, things that I think are beautiful. Everyone finds beauty in something, to their own particular tune. The symmetry of beauty is something that is very perfect, but at the same time imperfect. It's not something you see every day, and I think that's what makes it special. And I think that's why I choose to paint portraits of people in subculture or underground, because they are beautiful people, but it's not the same kind of beauty you're spoon-fed every day.